Bonjour, bonjour. Je sais pas s'il y a beaucoup de monde pour l'instant d'arriver. On est trois, ça va. Alors je tiens à dire que des commandes existent, comme celle-ci. Et je fais de la promotion pour un super bon jeu, avant de commencer un autre super bon jeu. Allez. Alors, nous allons faire l'épisode 3 de The Council. Dans le premier épisode, on a vu que c'était le foutoir. Dans le deuxième, ça allait encore plus. Mais on a rencontré Lord Mortimer. Et on a fini avec un flingue sur la nuque. Salut Blix. Maintenant, nous allons voir la suite de nos aventures, qui j'espère sont palpitantes. Parce que sinon, il va falloir me rembourser le jeu. C'est l'épisode du milieu. Donc, après il en restera 2. Donc il y a moyen d'avoir des choses passionnantes et en même temps de nouvelles grosses énigmes pour les épisodes suivants. Alors, le jeu. Ah, magnifique. J'ai oublié de mettre le chat sur mon portable. C'est bon. Le son du bureau là. Normalement, ça fait comme les deux premiers
The only thing I
épisodes.
can tell you
On en a pour 3
is
heures.
that Sarah had indeed changed. In your opinion, why would your mother remain in hiding over several weeks?
You must leave me alone now. I have agreed to everything. Even to...
But you do realize your mother will have to accept the consequences of her acts.
I hope that your search will prove successful and bring Sarah back to us soon.
I'll be leaving now because whatever it is you're up to, I do not want to know.
Since then, we have become one and the same. We have officially erased the identity of my sister Emma. Emily Hillsborough. The woman with 2 faces.
Everyone seems to be a little unnecessarily heated. Don't forget where you are, please.
Alors, nous sommes à nouveau sur le joli cadavre d'un serviteur. Alors, des manuscrits équipés. Manipulation, interrogatoire. Et interrogatoire encore. Nous sommes dans l'entrée de la crypte. Le lieu le plus bas, il me semble, de la map.
Don't move.
Wait, I don't...
So you've come at last.
Easy. Let me turn around. Oh my god, Mother, what has happened to you?
Who are you?
What? But, Mother!
Who are you?
It's me, Louis, your son.
No, you lie. You won't catch me out like that. Louis isn't here. He obeys his mother. He would never have come here.
Mother, I don't know what you've been through, but lower your arm, please.
You think I was born yesterday, do you? But it won't work.
I'm begging you.
One day you will fall.
Mother!
Why are you here?
Je ne sais pas quoi faire. C'est terrifiant. Commencer là-dessus, c'est terrifiant. Est-ce qu'on la sauve? Est-ce qu'on fait autre chose? Je ne sais point. Allez,
I'm
on la
here to
sauve.
help you. You have nothing to fear.
If only it were so simple. You are evil incarnate. Every word that comes out of your mouth is sharper than a razor blade.
I don't wish you any harm. Really, Mother. It's me, Louis.
Don't speak to me about him. You will never get him.
Mother, stop torturing yourself. It really is me, Louis. How can I convince you?
If you really are who you say you are, what was the saying I taught you?
You've been telling it to me since I was 3 years old, Mother. How could I ever forget it? Always keep your mind rational.
J'aime ces choix. Ouvert, ouvert, ouvert. Bon bah ouvert.
And open.
You knew it. You are smart. You're getting me muddled up. Tell me, rather, whose place were we at when I told you I was coming here?
Mother, I really am your son. You can't trick me. We were in Paris. We were investigating an art dealer.
His name?
Ah, je comprends le début.
I
Moi.
just told you can't trick me. His name
La
was
petite
Von
intro
Borchardt.
sert donc à quelque chose.
My God, everything is lost then. I refuse to believe it's really you, Louis. Otherwise, all this would be for nothing.
Mother, I don't know what happened to you, but don't worry. Everything's going to be fine. I'm here for you, and
No! I ordered you not to come with me.
I received a letter, and Lord Mortimer informed me of your disappearance. So I took the...
No! 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 It's not true. It's a nightmare. Don't tell me that. Have you spoken to him?
Oh, shit. She's completely panicked because I spoke to Mortimer. It seems she's afraid of what he might have said to me about her.
Did he speak to you?
On va dire qu'il était pas là quand on
Don't
est
believe
arrivé.
it.
Hein.
I thought I'd meet him the moment I arrived, given the situation. But not at all. He didn't even bother to meet me in person.
I imagine that Elizabeth was still here. Very well. Rational and open, Louis. Since you arrived on the island, has anything strange happened to you?
Depends on what you mean by strange.
Tout est étrange en fait. Hein.
Personally, I think
Non,
that you
moi.
being missing for 3 days and then me finding you underground, minus a hand, well, that qualifies as strange, don't you think?
No.
Oh, la
my hand
première
is not
confrontation
important for
réussie.
the moment. If that's the
On part
only
sur une
thing
bonne
you
note, quand
found
même.
that shocks you, then all is well. Now shut up and listen to me. We might still have a chance. Something of utmost importance is going to play out right here.
What are you talking about?
A conference, Louis. I should think all Mortimer's guests have arrived by now, haven't they?
Yes, they have, since this morning.
Perfect. The conference will be able to begin.
Indeed. It shouldn't be long, and
Let me finish. We haven't time. You will attend this conference, and you must find out what Mortimer is up to. Don't trust him, Louis. Understood?
but what's it about?
No matter. I'd wager it's about a vast acquisition of some territory in North America. This, however, is not the issue.
But don't you think that...
Louis, I made a mistake by coming
L'acquisition
here.
massive
We are in the
d'Amérique du Nord.
lion's den.
What do you mean?
Mortimer, Holm, their guests. Watch what happens. Do you think it's normal that the representatives of the most powerful nations are here all on their own without anyone else? On an island in the middle of nowhere in total secrecy?
No, not really, but...
Louis! They shape the world. They manipulate us. Everything is decided here and now. They create and break states, provoke wars, destitute governments, or decide who will be their leaders. Open your eyes!
Mother, calm yourself, please.
On va essayer d'avoir plus d'infos
Nothing
d'elle
is
quand même.
impossible for them. They are capable of reaching everyone, wherever they may be. Through high society banquets, they model the future of us all. And it isn't at all an issue for them.
Ah,
And
peut-être la
what do you
Louisiane, oui.
propose?
It's time to act, my son.
Ça
You will
pourrait
go to this
correspondre.
conference and, from the inside, you'll do everything you can to prevent Mortimer's plan from going ahead smoothly. We can talk later. I'll explain everything.
But why?
Do as I say, Louis. It's of the utmost importance. Beware of Mortimer. He won't let anything stand in his way.
Le vent de la
You
Louisiane,
promised
c'est de
me that after.
l'Espagne
Yes, after. Go
aux
now.
États-Unis.
Yes, Mother, I'm going. One more thing, Mother. Emily Hillsborough, Emma's sister, came to this island looking for her sister. She probably won't hesitate to take revenge and...
It's the signal that the conference is starting, Louis. Don't be concerned about the Duchess. She's the last of our worries.
Mais la Louisiane française a été perdue avant contre les Anglais. Du coup... Ah, c'est pas là. Foutu labyrinthe. La Louisiane française a été perdue contre les Anglais pendant la guerre de 7 ans. Je sens pas qu'on ait vendu quoi que ce soit là-bas. Et on est en 1793. Faut pas oublier ce détail. Alors. Est-ce que le gouvernement révolutionnaire a fait quelque chose en Amérique du Nord? Non, l'histoire se déroule en 1793. Salut Rubers.
Totally wrong, I assure you.
I have suspected it for some time.
That does seem as if...
Alors nous avons rejoint le colloque. Lord Mortimer, il est ici.
Ah, Louis, I've been expecting you. Thank you for joining us. We are about to begin our conference. Let me explain what is at stake.
Thank you kindly, but what do you expect of me exactly? My mother's the one who's supposed to attend, not me.
That is indeed what was initially intended. Unfortunately, she still hasn't been found, and my guests can't stay here indefinitely. The conference must begin, and it would be truly beneficial to the Order to join in the project. Consequently, I would like you to replace her during her absence. What is at stake here is of the utmost importance.
It's important that the French Order gets their say. And should you need any advice, don't worry. You are not alone, Louis.
Very well.
On va leur demander ce
Can you
qui
give me
passe
a
ici, hein.
brief explanation of the aim of it all?
Of course, Louis, I was coming to that. The aim of these meetings is to bring together the most influential people in order to think together about the future.
But the future of who?
Of the world, Louis.
Our desire is to steer the destiny of our respective countries for the good of all, and to no longer suffer the random hazards of history.
Ah, il y a un David sauvage dans le chat.
In concrete terms, how do you organize your discussions?
A conference is always organized the same way. There are two masters of ceremony who determine an important subject.
You and Sir Gregory, I presume.
Exactly. We shall be the masters of ceremony. It was our obligation to each bring to the table several guests in order to debate a subject. Once the debate is closed, a decision will be made by a vote of all the participants.
By a unanimous vote. If the project is not agreed on by all, then it will be rejected.
And neither of the two masters of ceremony have the right to vote.
It's up to the guests alone to decide, Louis. In other words, us.
Gregory and myself are merely the go-betweens. Finally, if the project is validated, each guest goes home and starts working to make it happen.
It can take years.
On va voir ce qu'ils ont fait comme grande
that was decided
décision.
here before being implemented in the outside world?
Well, take the French Revolution. It was decided right here 2 years before its implementation in
Pardon?
France.
Concerning
Révolution
the case
française.
of the French Revolution, I wasn't invited. But as far as the American Revolution is concerned, Louis, I can testify that we planned it 5 years before implementing it, for example.
Je ne comprends pas. Un ramassis d'aristos organise des révolutions pour remplacer des monarchies par des républiques. Il faudra m'expliquer un jour un truc comme ça.
Louis, let me keep you a moment. I would like to let you in on a secret before we begin, because I'm going to need your assistance. You see, the project I'm going to present concerns the territory of Louisiana in North America. It's currently Spanish territory, and I'm going to make the proposition to the Assembly for it to become French.
But how does that concern me?
Well, you see, I prepared this project with your mother. We began thinking about a crazy idea. Unfortunately, Sarah went missing before getting the bigger picture. I don't intend to stop at Louisiana. My idea is to increase the territory of the United States. The first stone of this vast project consists of getting Spain to cede Louisiana to France. Once
Ok,
it
la
becomes
restitution de
French,
Louisiane à la
France
France.
will hand it over to the United States, which will then allow them to double the size of their territory.
Et ensuite,
And that's
on
where
le
you
rend
come
aux
in.
États-Unis.
France and the United States, hand in hand, two democracies illuminating the world.
Lord Mortimer, I'm sure you're aware that Louisiana is hardly prime quality land. I wouldn't be exaggerating to call it marshland. How is acquiring land they won't know what to do with going to strengthen the United States?
Think further, Louis. The United States won't stop there. Once they've acquired Louisiana, nothing will stop them. All they would have to do then is keep pushing toward the west to take the whole North American continent.
So you intend to get rid of the Spanish?
They are purely transitory. This is the settlers' home. It is natural for them to want to develop their nation to become one of the greatest powers of this world. As for the Spanish, there
Du
are
coup, on
just a
comprend pourquoi
handful of
Godoy
naturally on site.
était un peu triste.
And if need be, we'll see to it that they are sufficiently occupied in Europe so that their focus is not on the North American continent. Moreover, Spain really only cares about its colonies in South America. It's hardly my fault if they're not capable of seeing the potential in the North American territories. The concept of royalty is from bygone times. It is time to lead the way to
Ok, donc des
democracy.
aristos qui veulent
Take a look at them.
Supplanter
Apart
les
from
monarchies, c'est pas mal ça.
Washington,
Hein.
they all belong to monarchies. Do you really think they won't resist? Of course they'll fight, fearful as they are of losing their precious privileges. But the world needs visionaries, like you, like your mother. It's a pity Sarah isn't here to see it. She only knew about a tiny part of the project. I hope I can count on you, Louis. It's time to start now. I must ask you to keep it to yourself for the time being. Take a seat, follow the discussions. We'll have an opportunity to catch up later, and you'll be able to let me know your thoughts.
Blast it, Mother. You didn't know about everything. His project is commendable. Why tell me to beware?
C'est très la dissonance cognitive là-dedans. Franchement.
Got you wrong?
My friends, I propose
Tout le
we
monde
get
a l'air
started.
sympa et tout le monde dit tout et son contraire en fait.
First of all, I would like to thank you for taking the time to come.
The honor is ours, my lord.
As per our custom, here we are all together to discuss the face of tomorrow's world. Even though there may be certain tensions between our nations, I must ask you to keep an open mind. As Sarah de Richet is unable to be among us, please welcome Louis de Richet, who will represent the Golden Order and will vote on its behalf when the time comes.
Welcome among us, Louis.
Welcome, Monsieur.
I hope he'll be more effective than his mother regarding the protection of the King of France. The Order has proved particularly inefficient.
J'en connais un
Comrade,
qui
you're not going to
a
spoil our
pas
visit.
digéré l'exécution
The
du roi
Order's
Louis.
mission was not to protect King Louis XVI, as far as I am aware.
Roi
We are
Louis le
talking
XVIe.
about the King of Divine Blood, for goodness sake. It seemed obvious to me he needed protecting. If the Golden Order wants to pride itself on being an influential organization, it should have kept him alive.
Allez, on
I'm
va taper
sorry about
Godoy.
the
Hein.
fate of the King of France, Duke Manuel. However, I'm surprised at your remark. How can a man like me have changed the course of things where a man like you, powerful, capable of influencing international politics, was unable to do any better?
Perhaps we may begin, Lord Mortimer.
Certainly. I have a dream that our nations will continue to support each other, more now than ever before. A dream that, for the sake of common good, we will do what it takes to ensure stability in the modern world. I have a dream that we shall lead by example and ensure that the American territory may remain in peace.
Thank you for the thought, Lord Mortimer, but I don't see where you're leading.
I'm coming to it, Mr. President. I need not remind you that North America is currently divided between the United States on the east coast and Spain, which occupies the remaining 2/3 of the continent. Well, I propose that Spain cede the center of the continent to France, namely all of Louisiana.
Louisiana? But, well, it is not for sale. Lord Mortimer, I sincerely hope I have not come all this way just to hear you ramble on about what Spain should and should not do. When we went to all the trouble of gaining the territory a few years ago, it was not just to lose it today. Have I made myself clear?
What did I tell you, William? You speak of union, and yet here you are, about to tear us apart.
Duke Manuel, I perfectly understand you. But rest assured, you will soon adore my proposition. You shall see.
Well, since you give me the choice, my good fellow, allow me to doubt it. However, I am impatient to hear what Spain could possibly gain from the sale of Louisiana.
I never spoke of a sale, my good fellow.
What? But I do not understand.
There is one more territory left to conquer, if I'm not mistaken, in the northwest. It is, of course, occupied by your notorious Indians, but...
We shall soon be rid of the savages, so that is not a question.
Duke
On a des
Manuel,
sciences là-dessus, hein.
I believe that Spain should cede Louisiana to France,
Histoire de pas
free of
vexer
charge.
This is utterly grotesque, Lord Mortimer.
Godeuil
What
un
a
peu trop.
strange example you set for your young protégé. Isn't that so, Monsieur de Richet? Do you understand anything of this proposition?
If I were you, Senor Godoy, I would think twice before stirring up a scandal.
I beg your pardon?
Given the size of your colonies, you won't be able to keep them for long. A number of countries are eyeing them as we speak. The United States would have no trouble taking them. For all intents and purposes, you have no army in place.
J'espère que ça
By
va passer
wanting
ça,
to
hein.
keep everything, you risk losing it
J'espère
all,
qu'ils se seront
especially your colonies in
comment dire,
South America, which are
effrayés
far
par
more
les
valuable.
États-Unis.
That is
et que ça va passer.
indeed the danger, Duke Manuel. If it comes to war over Louisiana, you will lose. And probably a good deal more than you now imagine.
Young
On
man,
aime la barbe qui passe à
you are
côté,
indeed a
enfin,
dark horse.
travers du
aren't you?
vêtement.
I must say, William, I find your project mostly disfavors me. I thought you were my friend.
And I am, Mr. President. That is why I'm doing everything in my power to calm your expansionist fervor. France, in Louisiana, should persuade you not to attempt anything to take the territory by force. Louisiana is a vast wetland where you would needlessly lose most of your troops. It would weaken you and offer certain nations the perfect opportunity to take back your famous United States. I am protecting you from yourself, George. Trust me.
I understand. But with friends like you, sir, I certainly don't need any more enemies. I hope you know what you're doing.
Am I imagining things, or does it look like Washington isn't aware of Mortimer's plan?
Not to put too fine a point on it, Lord Mortimer,
bien, ça.
but I doubt the Holy See would be in favor of Catholic Louisiana being handed over to secular revolutionaries and king killers.
I should think Monsieur de Richet has an opinion on this subject, does he not?
On the maps of Italy I saw in Mortimer's secret study, he had anticipated movements of troops across Italy. I wouldn't be surprised if he's planning an invasion of Italy by France, and if I push the notion a bit further, I can well imagine that Bonaparte's cannons, financed by the Order, will be used for that purpose. The noose is tightening around poor Piaggi's neck without him even realizing it. I don't know if I'm the best person to speak about that, Your Eminence. Honestly,
Après,
Your
non,
Eminence,
savoir
I really
éviter
don't
les
see
conflits
it.
inutiles. Hein.
Mi auguro che insegnerete l'educazione a questo giovanotto.
Pourquoi j'ai une phrase en italien?
Sir Gregory.
I hope that you will teach this pretentious young man some manners, Sir Gregory. It looks like I won't be just making friends here.
In any case, my lord, I doubt the English crown will agree.
Ich versichere Ihnen, Emily,
Oh,
die Preußen wird diese
arrêtez de parler dans
Sache
l'autre langue, là, que je comprenne. Tout ça pour traduire après.
I assure you, Emily, the Prussian will never accept this agreement. Volner looks like he's set on ruining Mortimer's plan.
Duchess, I am persuaded that we shall find
Donc,
common ground.
That's
il y a un
enough,
petit
William.
projet du petit
These are great
Mortimer.
times. We don't care about the fate of Louisiana. That worthless expanse of putrid swamps interests no one but yourself.
Il y a tout le monde qui est contre.
Hold on there, Mr. Royal Gigolo.
Sauf nous,
Lower
du
the
coup.
volume, and let's
Du coup, on essaie
see Gregory
de...
finish.
qu'on essaie de faire réussir le projet de Mortimer.
Mortimer's adversaries are ready to tear each other to pieces, and he takes a malicious pleasure in watching it happen.
How dare
Gentlemen, let us try to remain calm.
There you are, William. See where your projects have taken us, as per usual. Chaos. That's enough. I'm tired. We shall continue this discussion tomorrow, but please be aware that your project will never be ratified. Those who are opposed to this project, follow me.
Tout le monde le suit. C'est parfait, ça.
Are you coming with us, Monsieur de Richet?
Come, Gregory, I think Louis would rather stay. Wouldn't you, Louis?
Va-t-on aider Mortimer ou va-t-on aider Holm? C'est terrible ce choix. Si on va aider Holm, on se met à dos Mortimer, c'est sûr. Plus Bonaparte et le juge Perru. Alors que là, si on va aider Mortimer, on se met à dos tout ce beau monde. Help me, je ne sais pas quoi choisir. Ouais, parce que vraiment là... Il y en a un qui va perdre du territoire, qui n'est pas content. Il y en a deux qui sont pour préserver quand même les monarchies. Et l'autre qui pense aux catholiques. Go Mortimer, on veut du drama. Allez.
As for me,
le drama.
I think I shall remain with Lord Mortimer.
J'espère qu'il y en aura alors.
You are committing a grave error, Louis.
Time will tell.
C'est ça en même temps d'essayer de démanteler des monarchies pour mettre en place des démocraties, enfin des républiques, en ne discutant qu'avec des aristos. Ça finit par être la merde, hein.
My friends, I would like to thank you for staying.
Good God, William. What is this I hear about you reinforcing military power in Louisiana? I have no interest in having France for a neighbor, and you know that very well.
Calm down, George. Louis, explain our plan to Mr. Washington, please.
Alors, nous sommes de retour, excusez-moi. Donc, nous étions rendus à dire l'entièreté du projet à Washington.
You see, Mr. President, Lord Mortimer anticipates that once France obtains Louisiana, they will cede it to you.
What do you mean? To us? The United States?
You heard right.
But
President Washington, the United States will double in size.
By what miracle have you...
You need to expand, George. You and France are the two major democracies in the modern world. It is necessary that you both become superpowers.
Are you really going to sponsor democracy throughout the world?
Of course, Monsieur Peru. That's why I don't want Spain to get too attached to those wetlands. Please continue, Louis. Explain my vision to Mr. President.
Mr. President,
Allez.
Lord Mortimer intends for you to conquer all the North American continent. He's relying on you to not stop at Louisiana, but to continue to push west.
Indeed, it would be dishonest to pretend that this is not my final
merci Jérém.
But why didn't you tell me
Installe-toi à bord du
before?
petit Anjou, s'il te plaît.
So, home doesn't see it coming. But by the time it dawns on Senor Godoy, it'll be too late because he'll realize that he's just lost all the North American continent. We all know that you won't stop once the...
Qu'est-ce que vous racontez là dans le chat? Qu'est-ce qu'il y a? 29, 28, 27? « 29 pays trouvés sur GeoGuessr. » Ah, pas mal.
It's cleared before you.
What do you mean?
You see, Monsieur Peru, it's very likely that once Louisiana becomes American, President Washington will push out even more and take the West Coast.
William, you haven't changed. Always one step ahead.
One step ahead?
Monsieur
You're
Peru.
joking. More like 5.
On that note, my friends, it's
Il est français,
getting late.
comme le nom
Mr.
l'indique.
President, continue to take offense over my project when we resume the conference in the morning. You do it to a T. And if Sir Gregory has the audacity to send you an emissary to convince you to go against me, do me a favor. String him along if you can. The more they believe we are divided, the more we'll have our hands free.
Only too happy to oblige.
Now, let us get some rest. We've got a big day tomorrow. Good night, gentlemen.
Good night.
Bon.
Louis, if you have a minute, I would like to ask a favor of you. I'm going to require your services.
How can I be of help? Tell me all about it.
Our adversaries are many, and the closing vote of the conference will soon be upon us. Time is of an essence, so I'll need you to assist me this evening.
How can I help?
I need you to go this very evening to persuade Senor Godoy to join us. He is the backbone of Gregory's resistance. Turn him round, and all the others will follow in such a stampede that Gregory will be able to do
donc nous allons
nothing.
sûrement avoir une confrontation avec
Lord
Godoy.
Mortimer, with all due respect, don't you think I'm the last person Godoy wants to talk to?
I'm sure you can do it. I believe in you.
If you believe that's the best way, then...
Nevertheless, I wouldn't bring up all the habits and customs of the court with him too much. I sense he's on edge at the moment. I doubt he'll be able to abide by the rules of etiquette that befit his rank.
And thanks for the advice.
Il a... Manuel Godoy. Ah oui, unité étiquette.
However,
Donc,
it must be
faut
done for the conference
Ouais,
tomorrow
étiquette.
morning. It's important to me.
I'll go straight away.
Thank you, my boy. And get some rest afterwards. Big day tomorrow.
Excusez-moi. Oui, monsieur Godoy. Ah, les escaliers qui disparaissent. Von Wollner. Je sais pas si on doit le rattraper dans sa chambre. Ou si l'autre part. On va d'abord aller voir sa chambre. Si je la retrouve. Mais je suis bête. C'est sur la carte. Von Wollner. Il doit être... Attends. Von Wollner, la tour, Perru, Bonaparte, Lisbiro, Washington, ça c'est Piaggi. Du coup, ok. Là on est à Washington. Cardinal Piaggi.
Huh, that's me.
Ça c'est moi. Et du coup...
Duke Manuel Godoy.
Ah, Monsieur de Richet. You wouldn't have seen Duke Manuel by any chance, would you?
I was going to ask you the same question.
I wanted to speak to him, but no one will open the door. I'm not sure he's in there.
If I want to pass through, I'll have to get Volner out of the way. I've searched all over
on a
the
des points
manor.
d'effort, on a gelé.
One thing's for sure,
nous
Monsieur
avons
de
utilisé un
Richet.
peu.
He's neither in his room nor on this floor. I've just looked all over.
I propose we both look for him. The first to find him tells the Duke that the other is also looking for him. Agreed?
Perfect. Let's do that. I shall have a look in the library.
Pas tellement compris
If
ce que
you
j'ai fait, en
find the
fait.
Duke before me, tell him I want to speak to him.
Yes. Let's proceed as you say.
Thank you,
D'accord,
Monsieur de Richet.
faisons comme ça. Très haut, c'est 117 cette réplique.
Right. Now be a good boy and go look somewhere else.
Première fois qu'on rentre dans sa chambre parce que pour l'enquête sur la disparition tragique d'Elisabeth, il n'était pas là.
Manuel
On n'a
Godoy.
pas pu
A
fouiller sa
cleaner
chambre.
himself in his room. Now that's not going to help him develop a sense of modesty. Mary Louise of Parma. How ironic having a painting of the Queen of Spain in one's room, my Lord Duke.
Ouais. Pour faire plus là-dessus.
Don Quixote. Talking without thinking is like shooting without taking aim. I have to think about that one.
Maudit fauteuil.
Charles IV of Spain. Now there's no chance of Godoy forgetting who he owes
mais j'en ai
everything
marre.
to.
Devant l'intérieur du fauteuil. Ah. Un livre. Bon. Sinon c'est pas tout. Il faudrait essayer. Oh.
Don Quixote.
Ah non c'est ça.
Talking without
Il faudrait essayer de
thinking
trouver Godoy
is like shooting without taking
pour
aim.
le forcer à nous soutenir. Si on descend... On va demander au serviteur là.
What can I do for you, sir? I am at your service day and night, sir.
Have you seen Duke Manuel?
The Duke is in the dining room, sir.
Dans la salle à manger. Ok. Manuel, j'arrive. T'es un romantique toi. Tu joues du piano à des papillons.
Duke Manuel?
Well, well. Monsieur de Richet, I was not expecting you. I am not in the mood, sir, I warn you. What do you want from me, sir?
Alors... On va pas parler de Volneur, hein, bien sûr. Parce que Volneur, il n'est pas dans notre camp. Est-ce qu'on lui pose des questions sur son arrivée? Est-ce qu'on lui rabâche les intérêts?
You and I both serve our countries as best we can, Duke Manuel.
On sait que les accords commerciaux entre les
It
États-Unis
doesn't mean we have to oppose each other. France and Spain have always been neighbors and friends. We share common issues, and it's not in our interest to come into conflict, let alone on our own home soil.
All right. You have my full attention, Monsieur de Richet. Make good use of it. Just tell me one thing, Monsieur. Why did you side with Mortimer? He is alone, isolated. The United States can do nothing to help you, and France is surrounded by over 10 countries, just waiting for the word to pounce. Really, I do not see why you choose Mortimer.
Je ne sais pas ce que je dis. Je vais pas lui parler des États-Unis qui deviendraient la plus grande démocratie du monde. Parce que ça veut dire qu'il faut révéler qu'on va filer la Louisiane aux États-Unis. Parce que l'ordre soutient Mortimer. Je sais pas ce que ça peut me faire en fait. Juste mettre Batroul.
Oh, it's really quite simple, you know. Whose place are we at? Who can manage to bring together so many influential figures under the same roof?
Technically, Sir Gregory brought more guests than Mortimer.
Yes, but in whose name? Who organized the party, Senor Godoy? Who pays the bills? And you are forgetting something fundamental. Who has the biggest army nowadays?
Yes.
There's no shame in admitting that France is militarily superior to you. That's why you're considering joining forces with other European countries in order to confront us.
I agree that Mortimer does have some powerful assets. Tell me, do you really believe Spain has any interest in ceding Louisiana to France?
Quel serait son intérêt? On va manipuler. Là comme ça je ne vois pas, c'est mauvais. L'Espagne pour tirer un bon prix. Non. On va partir
First
sur
of
ça.
all, the question is to know what Louisiana can be used for. We agree that today, all it brings you is death. Every day, a few more Spaniards die far from their birthplace.
I cannot deny that Louisiana is a veritable quagmire. You have a point there. Tell me one last thing. What would I gain from all this?
Alors, on sait qu'il en a marre d'être avec Holm. peut avoir la reconnaissance de Mortimer, sachant qu'il peut être une aide solide. Il parle plutôt de ce qu'il ne perdrait pas. Allez.
If you continue with home, our two countries will become rivals. It could turn into war. Who knows?
It is likely, even.
A war, Duke Manuel. On our own territories. Do you really see yourself committing the Kingdom of Spain to an armed conflict against France? Can you imagine the financial investment required, not to mention the loss of lives and dishonor at the slightest defeat? Do you see yourself being the man responsible for that?
No, but you are the one who's pushing me into it, you damned Frenchman!
I'm not pushing you into anything, Duke Manuel. If you are a man of the future and of progress, as I
En gros, on a
to
quand même dit qu'il
believe,
était nul.
you will know how much suffering a war would bring.
Come on, you fool, give it up. You're trapped like a rat.
Monsieur, I am astounded. I did not think you capable, but you have succeeded. I will be more wary of you the next time. Nonetheless, if you can guarantee Lord Mortimer's support, then yes, you can count on my vote when the time comes. However, I expect you to be discreet with regard to my former partners, without which our agreement will become null and void.
Of course, my Lord Duke. You can count on me. Lord Mortimer will be delighted to hear the news.
I hope you know what you are getting into, Louis. I bid you good luck.
Good night, my Lord Duke.
See you tomorrow.
Well, that's one thing out of the way. The only thing left to do is wait for the conference to resume tomorrow morning.
Allons nous coucher. Nous avons mérité. Donc, normalement, le plus gros effet pour avoir la Louisiane française. Je ne sais plus où est ma chambre. C'est terrible. Ah bah si, elle est là.
Huh, that's me.
Good evening, Monsieur le Français.
Duchess, you're here. What a charming surprise. I'm beginning to think you can't be without me.
You have managed to penetrate my armor, sir. Am I disturbing you, perhaps?
J'ai peur.
That's not what I said.
Ah, by the way, you surprised me during the conference.
Why's that?
Well, you are going to lose. Why stay with Lord Mortimer?
I believe he has every chance of winning.
My, you are a rash one. However, if ever you want to change sides, please feel free to let me know.
But tell me, you didn't come here to try and make me change my mind, did you?
That's the last thing on my mind, although you would have everything to gain by it.
There's no point trying to persuade me. Don't hold it against me.
Of course not, silly. Louis, if you trust me, you ought to ask yourself why I have chosen home. You do trust me, don't you?
Of course, Emily.
Admit, though, that it does make you think. There's still time, you know. Join us before it's too late.
Unfortunately, my word is my bond. I don't want to leave Lord Mortimer in the lurch.
Very well, as you wish. It's up to you to decide.
Tell me, are these visits to Mortimer's always so intense?
Yes and no. My sister doesn't normally disappear like she has. Any news of your mother?
I haven't had a minute to myself, what with the disappearance of Elizabeth and then the conference. Yes, I hope to continue my investigation tomorrow.
Do you have any leads?
No, not really. That's the problem.
Too bad. Can we change subject, please? I didn't come here to go through all that again.
Of course, it's late. You're right.
Oh mais non. S'il vous plaît, un peu de décence. En plus, c'est mal fait. C'est terrifiant, ça. Ah, j'aime pas cette tête. Une vision.
My friends, do not worry.
Il y a un chan pour
I
ça,
assure
oui.
you that Lord Mortimer's plan will never
Bonne
see the
Twitch.
light
Oh non,
of
je viens
day.
juste de commencer,
I
s'il
shall
vous plaît.
deal with informing our allies, but for the time being, I need you to make a stand.
What do you think about Monsieur de Richet?
I don't know yet. I feel there's great potential in him.
He looks like he can be trusted. And Duchess Hillsborough. Why isn't she here?
She's busy. Don't worry about her.
Oh, isn't it time to replace her?
Not so fast, sir. She is an important figure. You ought to have a little more faith in her.
What are we going to do about Washington?
He will be a hard nut to crack. On our chessboard, he is Mortimer's king.
Don't worry. Mr. President only wants one thing. To keep his dear America united. He won't jeopardize everything he has achieved on a whim.
He has been serving Mortimer for quite some time. It won't be easy to bring him around. Do you feel all right, Mr. Godoy? You haven't said a word.
Please excuse me, gentlemen. I feel
Ouais, fatigué, c'est ça.
tired.
Oh, I see. I think it is high time you left us then. Now!
Emily? Emily? Are you there?
Sir, the conference is about to begin. You are expected in the conference room.
Tell them I'm coming. Thank you.
Come on, Louis. The game is back on.
My friends, the conference is about to begin. Please excuse me if I troubled you last night with my project. I understand that you might well have a few questions to ask. As you know, the final vote will be cast in a few days. This morning's aim is to answer your questions and check the temperature of your respective positions, so that we may reach a greater
Après, c'est
understanding.
vrai, c'est un projet pour
As always, Lord
le
Mortimer.
monde. C'est pas une
We
partie
parted
d'échecs.
in perfect disagreement, my lord. Where would you like us to take it from?
Come, sir. Please let William believe he still has a chance of winning us over. Otherwise, his imprecations will lack panache, and we shall be bored stiff.
Oh, let me assure you, I am convinced that a good night's sleep has brought sound advice, and that this morning will be even more interesting. Therefore, I would like to go around the table in order to hear everyone's first impressions.
Well, I am still firmly against it, even though my choice won't count.
Against.
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 And you, Duke Manuel?
Well, you see, it is more complicated and it...
Goodbye. Calm, Gregory. Don't try to impress my guests, please.
They are not your guests.
Gregory, anyone under my roof is by definition my guest, you included. I would be very grateful if you would let my guests speak. Duke Manuel, you were saying you still had some doubts?
Well, you see, the situation has changed since last night.
What's going on here, my Lord Duke?
You see, I gave it some thought during the night. New arguments have come to light.
What do you mean,
C'est moi une
Duke
nouvelle
Manuel?
argument.
Sir Gregory, I regret to inform you that Spain will not support you in this operation. I vote for. Moreover, in response to arguments brought to my attention, I declare war on France.
What? What is he doing?
If you think France is afraid of you, you are dreaming.
Over 10 nations rise against you, young man, and you behave like a yapping little dog.
Le retournement de
When the French
situation.
armies are at your door, my Lord Duke, you will change your tune. Well, as for me, I am for Lord Mortimer's project, despite Duchess Hillsborough's overwhelmingly
Ah, mais son
convincing
accent.
nocturnal attentions.
What? So Emily was playing at trying to win over guests last night?
It was nothing more than a friendly little chat, of course.
How could it be otherwise? And by the way, remember me to your husband when you see him. And you, President Washington, what is your position?
Yes, yes, oui, baguette.
Of course.
Well, that leaves just yourself and
Alors,
Monsieur
Perru, normalement, il est
Louis.
pour.
You're all making me sick.
Non.
Look at yourselves.
What?
You are pathetic!
Have you been drinking or what?
There you are, quibbling away. My Lord Duke this, and Madame Duchess that. You know very well that we're nothing but puppets on a damn string.
Jacques, really?
Let's end the charade. It's over.
Jacques.
My lord, thank you for everything you've done for me over the years. But it didn't come for free. And now I see the price is too high to pay. I'll stop.
Come, Jacques, we'll talk it over.
No, I'm finished. I want my freedom back, my lord. I shall no longer work for you.
Oh mais... Que fait-on? Je ne sais pas. Allez.
Wait! De Richet, you just can't help it, can you? Stop trying to play the hero, man!
Alors, Rubber, il est coolos, ça dépend.
Jack,
Allez,
you
on va
know
dire
you
qu'on va
can count on
l'aider.
him. Calm down, please. I'm going to help you.
There's nothing you can do for me.
Ah. C'était un échec. Rip Perru. Donc j'ai raté Jacques Perru. Mais en même temps, c'est lui que je soupçonnais avoir tué Elizabeth Adams. Est-ce qu'on perd grand-chose? Je ne sais point. J'aurais pu me laisser convaincre par Hillsborough. Celui de Grégorium, ouais. Un secret de Perru. Oh. Secret de Bonaparte. Je peux découvrir un secret au sujet de Holm. C'est vrai que le succès, j'ai couché avec Lady Hillsborough et est assez surprenant. Bonaparte dînait clandestinement. Il était avec Brissort-Feu chez le roi. Donc, j'ai surtout loupé des secrets. C'est dommage. Enfin, dommage. Oui, c'est dommage. Alors, vu qu'on est en train de débattre et que je dois amener les gens dans mon sens, je vais améliorer au niveau suivant la manipulation. Il me reste un point, je peux améliorer. L'interrogatoire, allez.
That
I don't understand. I spoke to him only recently.
Monsieur Perrault has lost his mind. It's obvious.
Yet another way for the French to make a spectacle of themselves.
Encore une manière française de se donner en spectacle.
My friends,
C'est beau ça.
let us settle down, please.
Vous avez attendu
We are
nous donnons en
all
spectacle.
in shock, of course. Let us praise Louis's gesture anyway. You did what you could.
Yes, it was very noble of you, Louis.
It wasn't your fault.
There was nothing else you could have done.
Ah,
I
les gens me
think
trouvent plus
everyone
sympathique.
needs a little rest.
Ils allaient avoir du repos.
Can we stay a moment?
Sauf moi. Alors, les manuscrits. Un point d'agilité. Non, un point d'occultisme, c'est très bien. En conviction. En science. Peut-être pas en occultisme, mais plutôt en subterfuge. Oh, vous auriez pu voir la boîte de dialogue quand même directement.
Louis, I wanted to talk to you a moment about what has happened. All this is tragic, but I wanted to thank you for doing what you could.
I wasn't able to save him.
You couldn't do it.
D'ailleurs, vu que le personnage est mort, je n'ai pas vu. Est-ce que ça me change? Perru. Oui, non, ça me change rien en fait. C'est pareil pour Elizabeth Adams.
You mustn't blame yourself. It is not your fault.
I know this has nothing to do with me, my lord, but don't you think you're partly to blame? It won't escape your attention that he incriminated you before he took his own life.
I heard what he said, yes. Monsieur Perrault appeared to blame me for his condition. I certainly encouraged him to succeed, but I wasn't aware he couldn't handle the pressures of the situation. Of course, his duties in Paris were very difficult. The choices he had to make were burdensome. But that was the path he had chosen. Should I not have helped him to succeed, perhaps?
Did you push him into it?
I wouldn't say push, but I did encourage him, yes. I thought it was my duty to help him as much as I could to become the court judge he dreamed of being. I thought he was capable of it. It appears I was mistaken, unfortunately. What a pity he didn't come and speak to me. What a waste.
What are your plans now?
What do you mean?
For the conference. After the disappearances of both Elizabeth Adams and my mother, and now the death of Mr. Perrault, I should imagine that your guests are all packing their bags.
This might come as a bit of a shock to you, perhaps because it was so difficult to bring all these figures together, but I am convinced that none of them is preparing to leave.
Are you serious?
They are all very experienced politicians, and though they are, of course, affected by the situation, they know full well that such an opportunity will not come again for a long, long time, if ever. They each represent their nation, and know full well that what is at stake here is far greater than the death of poor Monsieur Perrault. You'll see. I am confident that they will all be ready to resume the conference.
If you say so. Allow me to take my leave, please.
Of course. You ought to get some rest. Oh, Louis, one more thing, please. I wanted to thank you for your support during the conference. You've made the right choice, and it gives me tremendous satisfaction to have you with me on this project.
What is at stake is worth it, my lord. Now, I won't hide from you the fact that I have no idea by what miracle we could ever get a unanimous vote.
Trust me, Louis. We still have a few more cards to play. You'll see. Anything can happen in politics.
I'll see you later, my lord.
Eh ben. Retournez dans votre chambre. J'espère qu'on va pas y croiser Emily encore une fois. Flemme d'avoir encore un succès à la con.
hardly mentioned it yesterday. Either to you or to someone else. Impossible to tell with you people.
Yes, sir.
Your yes is not sufficient. Tell the others, for crying out loud. Remember to close my window once you've done my room. This isn't Corsica, you know. I'm freezing.
On n'est pas en Corse ici, bien sûr.
Straight away.
Good. Proceed.
Yes, sir.
Monsieur Bonaparte.
Don't feel guilty over Monsieur Peru. You did your best. We just lost the vote for the next conference, and we already had fewer votes than Holm. I must
Oui, cet accent est
absolutely
déplorable.
find a solution.
Yes. Yes, indeed. But I believe if Lord Mortimer is still confident, it's because he still has a few cards up his sleeve.
I hope so. I sincerely hope so. Unfortunately, that vote of Godoy you acquired is probably not going to suffice.
Well, it's still more than what you've done, isn't it?
I see you have a short
Non,
fuse,
mais j'ai
monsieur.
à peu près le même accent que
As
lui quand je
someone
parle
who just started
en
a war
anglais.
with Spain,
Du coup, j'ai
if
trouvé une
I were
solution, moi je
you,
ne parle
I
pas en
wouldn't get
anglais.
on my high horse so quickly. In short, we haven't a minute to lose. I'll leave you now.
Just a minute. Why did Duchess Hillsborough go and see you last night?
Ah, I see that it bothers you not to know. I've half a mind to send you
Mitron,
on a
c'est pareil.
wild goose chase. The Duchess
rapport, s'il
simply
te
came
plaît?
to persuade me to change sides. But rest assured, with the most honorable intentions. Now, Louis, time is running short, and as I said, I'm in a hurry. I have to go now. I will see you later.
I am sorry, sir, but you are unable to access Monsieur Peru's room while we gather his personal
Oh.
effects.
Ils sont pas coopératifs, je voulais fouiller sa chambre encore. Ça c'est Bonaparte. Où est-ce que je peux rentrer dans sa chambre lui? Ah oui. Il n'y a pas de petits trucs à voler? Ou est-ce que j'ai tout volé? Ah non.
Honey, I couldn't have hoped for better.
Gelée royale, c'est beau.
It's a beautiful weapon. Lovely damask blade. It's marked with the initials of the manufacturer in Versailles. Carmelite water. They say that if you drink this, it gives you a real boost.
Bon. Gauche épuré par le balcon. Je peux pas passer par le balcon. Mais oui, sinon ça aurait été une idée. Parce que là en fait, on est au milieu. Enfin, on a vu sur le jardin après. Et on peut pas passer en fait. Par contre, ça serait possible avec la chambre de Piaggi. Ou celle de Godoy. Parce que je sais que je peux sortir sur le balcon. On va pas dans la chambre d'Émilie. On risquerait de tomber sur elle. Manuel Godoy, non. Attendez, le rituel.
That's me. Next time, I'll listen to my mother. Not a day has gone by without something happening to me. What now?
Encore quelqu'un. J'espère que c'est pas Émilie.
Louis, open up,
Ah non.
please.
Coming, Mr. President, I'm coming.
Louis. Ah, there you are at last.
Yes,
I just saw your mother. She was accompanied by Emily, and they both went into the Duchess's room. I tried to join them, but I was refused entry. Louis, this does not bode well.
Oh shit. Emily might want to avenge her sister. I must act quickly.
You're right, Mr. President. Thank you.
Je ne sais plus où est sa chambre. Ah si, c'est par là du coup.
I do believe that's Emily's voice.
On va écouter la porte d'abord.
I can't understand what she's saying.
Non.
Emily! Emily, are you there? Answer me. Emily! I can't open it. It must be blocked on the other side.
Force sur
I'll have
x1000
to
là.
find another way in. Quick!
On va retourner à la chambre de Perru. Peut-être que j'aurai la possibilité de sortir sur le balcon. Ça c'est Bonaparte. Non, il est toujours là lui. Peut-être que dans la chambre de Bonaparte, j'aurais peut-être loupé un truc. Ah, là il y a un point.
I have to get inside Emily's room through the... Shit! It's locked.
Oh mais... C'est terrible ce coup. On va forcer la fenêtre hein.
No way. It's too sturdy.
5. 5 de points d'effort, c'est énorme. Non, du coup, c'est celle-là. Non, celle-là.
Huh. It's as if there are several people inside.
Once again, you're the one who's the victim in all this.
What on earth is... You... Mother?
How dare you do this to me? You can talk. After everything I've done for you. You are joking, I hope, right? I gave you my life. That's enough, Emma. Now that Louis is here, you will leave Sarah alone. Cease your revenge immediately. What? If you think you're going to... Louis, help me, I beg you. I can no longer reason with her. I am Emily. Quit playing games. What? Honestly, don't be ridiculous. No. I am Emily. You are wasting your time. Louis knows very well how to tell us apart. After everything we've been through together.
Yes, well...
Don't you dare bring him into this. This is between you and me. I ask for nothing more, so stop taking it out on Sarah. You prissy little bitch. How dare you? Now that I've told you everything, you want to take my place, do you? You are joking, I hope. I'm the one who told you everything that's been going on while you were away. Go on then. That's what you want, isn't it? You want to kill me. Go on then, shoot. After all the trouble I've gone through to find you. Go on.
Je préfère encore trouver des codes difficiles en fouillant dans des livres dans un bureau.
Louis, take this.
Wait, what's going...
An entire life for this. Go on, shoot. Sorry, Louis, I can't shoot her. She's my sister. That's enough, Emma. Louis, out of the way. She's dangerous. Don't trust her. What are you trying to do? Louis, out of the way. I am not Emma. Come on, Louis, tell her who the real Emily is.
Wait,
That's right, Louis. I'm fed up with this little game.
C'est terrifiant.
Tell him who the real Emily is.
Why do these things always happen to me?
Well, Louis, come on, you know how to tell us apart, right?
Yes, but I'd like to ask you a few questions to make sure there's no doubt.
Rational and open, Louis. Let's see. How can I tell them apart? Wait, I've got an idea. On the night of our arrival...
Alors, on va s'adresser à lui en face.
You had asked me what had become of me since we last met in London some years before. What did I answer?
That you are a diplomat, Louis. You even told me about the troubles you had saving some compatriots during the French Revolution. I already told her, Louis. I was there.
Right. Let's find something else. Ah, yes. Let's speak about my arrival at the manor.
When we arrived at the manor, someone was already present in the Great Hall. Who was it?
George Washington, President of the United States, Louis. Of course you are able to reply. I'm the one who told you.
Very well.
Let's try something else.
On the first night, we went up to bed, but I wasn't tired. I went for a little stroll.
Il faut de la mémoire, je ne sais même pas.
Do you remember if we saw each other that night or not?
No, not after going up to bed. That doesn't prove a thing. I was the one who told you that. Don't think you're going to get away with this deception so easily. I can assure you, you're going to regret pretending to be me once Louis has exposed you.
Right. I don't think I'll get very far like this. I'll have to find something better.
Oh, I don't think I'll even wait until he's finished.
Take it easy now.
Are you mad, Louis?
Lower your arm.
I better act quickly if I don't want things to get out of hand.
Come on, she's putting one over on you. Look at yourself for crying out loud. You were prepared.
Pardon, mais c'est n'importe quoi. On parle quand même de personnages dont on sait qu'elles sont sœurs jumelles, que l'une, enfin qu'elles ont abandonné l'identité de l'une pour partager l'identité de l'autre, qu'elles font tout exactement pareil, qu'elles se racontent tout. C'est comme si on avait dupliqué on a dupliqué un personnage. C'est comment tu veux t'en sortir avec ça? Non, dans le journal, on voit qu'il y a les deux personnages, mais rien de plus. Genre les immunités. Psychologique pour la vulnérabilité, logique et l'autre, on ne sait pas. Mais on pourrait essayer, si le choix se présente.
Shoot me down.
In the secret room behind the study. Talk to them about what you've been doing. Maybe they haven't spoken about it between each other yet.
On the night of the disappearance of Elizabeth Adams.
What about it? What do you want to know about that night?
We found ourselves in Mortimer's secret gallery. What relics did we find?
Property deeds in Mortimer's name dating from very long ago.
Is that all?
You mean all those mythological charms? So there was the so-called Pandora's box that wasn't a box actually. The famous golden fleece that reeked of dead goat. A broken sword that could have belonged to anyone. Is that enough?
Yes, that's enough.
You look captivated. Of course, he bought it. That's enough! I've had enough of this charade. Louis, there's only one way to tell us apart. There's just one thing I didn't tell her about in detail. Too bad for you, Emma. I didn't want it to come to this, but you leave me no choice. Ask her about you and I. You just lost, Emma. I indeed didn't tell you everything about it. Come, Louis. Speak about our intimacy.
Very well, let's talk about us. Last night, we spent the night together. But beforehand, You insisted on talking about my choices during the conference. Why?
I beg your pardon. Louis, I did not go to see you last night.
What? Huh?
Now your
Ah,
true
c'est bon.
identity is exposed. What did you do? I didn't tell you everything, little sister. I never told you about this episode, so you know nothing of what happened last night between Louis and me.
C'est bon.
You dirty slut. What did you do?
C'est
That's
ça
enough,
le
both
succès.
of you.
C'est
Now
donc
I
ça,
know what the real
à ça
enemy
qu'il
is.
servait.
You are Emily Hillsborough.
I knew you wouldn't get it wrong, Louis. No! You little bitch! Watch out, Louis! No!
Hell, what have I done?
Bon.
See what you've done. See.
Louis? What on earth is going...
Mother!
Go. You must leave. Everyone's going to arrive.
Louis, what's going on?
Duchess? Is everything all
Ça
right?
se trouve, c'est pas Amy qui est venue te voir.
Go, mother! No one must find you here.
Oh.
Go.
Come, Louis. There's nothing more you can do.
But I...
Leave us.
Non, Blix.
What's going on?
Ne pas
Mother,
regretter ce
go to
choix,
the
s'il te
crypt.
plaît.
I'll meet you there.
I'll be waiting for you.
Emily.
Madam, I'm coming in.
It was bound to end like this, Louis. Let me stay with her, please. Go, I'll cover you.
Oh là là. Je te déteste, Blix, franchement. Moi, j'étais sûr de moi quand j'ai cliqué. Maintenant, j'ai le doute profond. Alors, comment on est arrivé là? Par ici.
Good God! They're all here. They must have heard the gunshot.
Where is Lord Mortimer?
Can anyone hear anything through the door?
Alors. Je sais pas pourquoi, mais on va passer par là. Au pire, se levant avec une arme, ça sera plus facile à passer en légitime défense. Ça expliquerait pourquoi il militait aussi avec Bonaparte en plus. Ah. On va appeler la légitime défense, hein, s'il vous plaît. C'est par la galerie des portraits qu'il faut passer. Oh mais c'est terrifiant les choix à faire. Admirer la vue cependant. Les petits bateaux tout en bas là. Les rochers. Ah, c'est beau. Le jeu est vraiment beau quand même. Bon, ça fait quand même très bourge, mais bon. Ce serait pas vraiment si ça faisait pas très bourge. Vu qu'on est entouré de bourges. Allez. Faut aller dans la crypte. Alors. Ah. Je déteste ce labyrinthe. Édition 5, au moins.
Louis! At last, there you are.
Mother, wait,
Come, we have to be quick.
No, wait, Mother,
Time is running out, Louis. First, we must...
No! That's enough. I won't go a step further unless you explain to me what is going on here. I'm begging you. Talk to me.
You must trust me, my son. You are not ready yet.
You are the one who should trust me. Tell me what's happening.
You would never believe me.
I came all the way here for you. Now I've found you. I'm ready, Mother.
If only. Louis, I have always taught you to keep your mind open and rational. I know you are going to find this hard to believe, but what I am going to reveal to you is entirely true. Many years ago, I found out that demons really do live among us.
Demons?
I beg your pardon?
And that they can influence our thoughts.
Mother, listen to yourself. I know you're exhausted, but for crying out loud, listen to what you're saying. Demons? What next? An ancient monster with a head like an octopus? What do your demons look like? Have they got horns and a pointed tail?
No, these are not creatures with billy goat's legs. Forget your Christian folklore. Imagine them more as parasitic spirits. They possess their hosts and direct them from inside.
Parasitic spirits?
Yes, they are capable of going from one body to another as they see fit. And 2 of them are present on this island.
Right. So let me guess.
Alors, je dirais Mortimer et
Lord
Holm.
Mortimer and Sir Gregory, right?
You felt it too?
No, even if Holm does look the part. But I don't know who else could do it, given that we're on their territory.
Many years ago, well before you were born, I crossed paths with one of them. Since then, I've spent my life trying to find it again. When we recovered the Alizif, I was persuaded that von Burchard was working for this demon in one way or another. But I thought he would hand the book to a middleman during this conference. That's where I made an error that could well turn out to be fatal. The one who Burchard was meant to give the book to was none other than the demon in person, Mortimer. Not to mention that Holm had sent Volner to get it for him.
Holm and Mortimer are demons?
They both seem to disagree about many things, but I'll admit I never knew exactly why. There are many of them, Louis, not just those 2.
Mother, have you any proof to support any of this?
Of course, but you do too. You had everything laid out in front of you. Didn't you notice anything?
Well, those property deeds across the world, all signed by the same hand and over several centuries.
I am proud of you, Louis.
I found your notes written in lemon juice.
Where all eyes size you up. At one stage, I was so afraid of losing my mind that I noted everything down. Congratulations, Louis. Wait, please tell me you didn't open Pandora's box.
The urn? No, I didn't. Why?
Good. We'll deal with it later.
I went beyond the nightmare, Mother.
You understood the Masonic date.
1191.
Of course! It was during that siege that the demon took possession of Sir Mortimer. They spent a whole night in conversation until the early hours of the morning. Mortimer had passed the test. He had charmed the demon and...
Alors, non. J'ai quitté la pièce et je rejoins ma mère dans la crypte. Et pour l'instant, on parle de Mortimer, qui est un démon. Et qui se serait fait posséder par le démon en 1191. Et franchement, c'est du grand n'importe quoi.
It chose him to be its host for centuries to come. But tell me, did you find his secret study?
I did indeed.
Did you see his maps of the world?
He has contacts the world over.
Yes, I've been developing the Golden Order across the world for many years, and I've never seen anyone with such influence. It's simply inhuman.
I must admit, I found it difficult to understand how and why Mortimer didn't have a place in history.
On the continent, Mortimer and Home are mere dandies who organize society balls. History forgets them with a disconcerting facility. No one speaks about them, and yet they whisper in the ears of kings and presidents.
You mean the conference?
How can you explain that someone manages to bring together so many important figures without anyone knowing?
And without any security or personnel.
Louis, I am proud of you. You came all this way. You found me. You have surpassed me.
You taught me everything I know. Right. How did it all begin?
I saw him.
What do you mean you saw him?
I was 20 years old. I was young and carefree. I traveled the world in search of adventure. In the Persian Gulf, we came across an ancient grimoire that became unlocked. Composed of 7 parts, each one was a book in itself, set in a sort of metal armor that structured the whole thing. When all the volumes were brought together, they formed a single book. On my return to Paris, I set to studying these pages. I spent all my days and nights studying them.
Oh, I can imagine you doing that.
But the writing was in a language I had never seen before, developed well before Sumerian, in my opinion. So I got the idea to form a small occult circle composed of all the major names in the occult world to see if anyone else could crack it.
And you found no one.
And I found someone, Louis. I found him. Or rather, he found me. He was young, charismatic. He was flamboyant.
J'irais bien Mortimer. Mais comment ça il était jeune? Si il a été possédé par un esprit en 1891. J'avoue que ça me paraît bizarre. Mais justement, ça vivait pas les démons. Il n'est pas jeune. Holm, bon, pour l'instant je prends pour un con. Et Van Borchert, j'en ai aucune idée. Je vais quand même dire Mortimer.
You mean Mortimer?
He was a veritable mine of knowledge.
Bah, c'était lui.
I showed him the book, and he was able to decipher a few passages. We spent several months together studying the pages.
Ouais,
He helped me understand certain passages until I realized that he only translated a few parts for me. But I had aroused his interest. It was too late.
How so?
I mean to say he manipulated me. He used me, and in the end, he stole the book with all its secrets.
Did he ever go to your place?
Not once. At least I don't think so. But before disappearing, he proposed a pact between us. He proposed that I follow him and let him teach me, allow him to bring me up.
And you accepted?
Please don't be stupid. You don't make deals with the devil. After that, I spent my whole life looking for him. 3 years later, in Berlin, I just missed him. In London, I lost 6 members of the order in a chase. In 1741, in Tunisia, I found a sect of fanatics who had crossed paths with him once. 1741, in Poland. 1749, in India.
8 years ago in Venice.
We agreed never to speak about what happened in Venice, Louis.
You agreed, and that was before you spoke to me about demons. Wait, The baby we delivered, you and me, that night in Venice, did he have anything to do with Lord Mortimer?
The child was his son.
We stole his son? Are you insane? I always thought we took him to save him.
That was the case. It was precisely to save him from his father.
Need I remind you the mother died during childbirth? What became of the child?
Later. For the moment, that is not the key issue here. Once we found the Al-Azif in Paris, I followed von Borchart's trail here. I didn't think it would lead me straight to the demon. It was careless of me. He toyed with me for a few days, until I caught on, until I saw him as he was. But he had no intention of letting me leave. We are all his pawns, Louis, and if we don't want to spend the rest of our lives turning round in circles here, we must absolutely get off this island. All right, can we move on?
Wait a minute, one last thing.
Elisabeth, je comprends. Emma, je comprends. Al-Azif avec Volner, je comprends. Les canons de Bonaparte, je ne vois pas le rapport. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a dans autre? Votre lettre sur les quais. Ah, votre main, ça serait plus intéressant. Mais vraiment, je ne sais pas, il y a trop de choix sympathiques, sauf les canons pour Bonaparte. Qu'est-ce qu'on en a à foutre?
I want to know what happened between you and Emily's sister.
Great responsibility often brings difficult choices, Louis. That's all you need to know.
Mother, I won't take a step further if you don't answer me.
You dare blackmail me?
Oui.
I'm listening.
All right, I used her. So there you are. Happy now? We had the Al-Azif, and I didn't think we would be able to escape with it. In order to ensure that the book did not fall into their hands, or that one of them couldn't read in us where we had hidden it, I asked Emily to...
It's Emma.
Yes, or rather for me, it was Emily. So I asked Emma to hide it without anyone seeing, and then I disposed of her. I am sorry for her, but she was part of the Golden Order, Louis. She knew the rules when she joined.
Pardon, mais... Elle a supprimé Emma. Donc, on avait vu ça dans la vision début. Elle tire sur Emily / Emma. Donc c'est plutôt Emma du coup. Mais s'il l'a éliminé à ce moment-là. Pourquoi il en restait 2? Il y a trop de gens dans cette famille. Ou alors elle a cru tuer Emma. Et finalement non. Non mais c'est n'importe quoi. Excusez-moi, mais c'est vraiment n'importe quoi. Bon. Apparemment, vous posez des questions aussi.
With Elizabeth Adams.
Louis, we haven't time for those details.
J'ai que 3.
You're
On va
probably
attendre
right.
pour autre chose.
What did you negotiate about the Al-Azif with Volner?
Absolutely nothing. I managed to pull the wool over his eyes until I found a way to flee.
What was going on with the cannons in Tuscany?
It was nothing.
Since when does the Order finance wars?
The cannons for that Bonaparte fellow? Listen, once in the lion's den, I did whatever I could to appear legitimate. So yes, I pretended to be interested in Mortimer's project about a young military man who was seeking funding for a foundry in Tuscany. Between you and me, if buying China would have enabled me to escape, I would have signed without hesitation.
Samuel Ritter du Choix. You wanted to send me a letter about Godoy.
I wanted you to run a check on Duke Manuel. But frankly, it doesn't really matter anymore now. Godoy is just a pawn like the others. He is not the one I was looking for.
You know, I found your package under a wharf plank.
As a matter of fact, I needed it yesterday. I wasn't expecting anyone to take it.
On the evening of my arrival, Cardinal Piaggi came looking for you. He was determined to give you a letter.
More of his lists. Louis, I think I know what's in that letter, and I beseech you to believe that it is the least of our worries. We can sort that out later.
Are you going to tell me what happened to your hand?
Better than that, I shall show you.
Mieux que ça, je vais te le montrer. Mais...
Good. I think that's about right. We shall speak about it once we get back to France.
Great actions for humanity have been decided by demons for centuries, Louis. They are playing with our destiny. We are their slaves. And it's time for it to stop. By the way, what was Mortimer's project at this conference?
He wants the United States to occupy all the North American territory. France should recover Louisiana and give it to the United States. In that case, the Americans would just have to push west to chase the Spanish from the continent once and for all.
And as Mortimer controls Washington, you may just as well say that it will put him at the head of a world superpower. We should do our utmost to put a stop to Mortimer's plans. But for the time being, there are more pressing matters.
Are you going to tell me why we're here?
Je vous avoue que plus ça va, moins je comprends ce qui se passe. Hein. Ok, donc ça coupe les mains, ça. Bon, beaucoup de blabla pour beaucoup de blabla. L'une des jumelles, oui, on fait savoir. Oh, mais c'est terrible. J'espère que j'ai couché avec Amy, du coup que j'ai tué Emma. L'inverse m'attristerait, je vous avoue. À moins que, en fait, Emily n'existe pas. Et que dans tous les cas, il faut éliminer ces personnes.
Reassure me, we aren't going to have to force that one, are we?
I don't think we're even capable of doing it. You're going to have to find a way to open it.
Why, of course. And what's inside?
Something to vanquish them with?
Perfect. So, how does it open?
We'll need several keys. I found a note from the architect who conceived the mechanism in Mortimer's secret study. We have to first gather 5 objects before we try anything.
Are the 5 objects the keys?
Exactly. We have the Clement III cross, the nails, the Gutenberg Bible, the exegesis of Judas, an armillary sphere, and all we need to match up the dates between the different calendars.
On dirait une mauvaise recette. Mais il manque du beurre, hein, franchement.
Why a cross?
Well, I haven't the foggiest idea, but it just so happens that's what you are going to use to activate the mechanism. I found the one Mortimer kept.
Des clous, je sais où il y en a. Je me souviens qu'il y en a dans le bureau secret de Mortimer.
Where is it?
Unfortunately, I've lost it. When I lost my hand, I went dashing out, and it must have fallen from my pocket.
Est-ce qu'on n'aurait pas récupéré une croix, nous? Non. On a des clés. Pyramidity.
Well, otherwise, I can always go and see Piaggi.
Ça a changé, Marmiton. Au pire, tu vas au Brico Dépôt, il n'y en a pas cher. Oui.
Some nails?
Don't ask me. I'm not the one who made the mechanism, you know. When I arrived, there were already a few of them inserted, so I didn't have to worry about those. On the other hand, I remember seeing some in Mortimer's secret study, behind his nightmare.
And a golden cup? Yes. Yes, I saw them too.
Perfect. It will be easy for you to find them then. You need 3 of them.
Very well.
You remember what to do about the rollers. 1191 to enter, and 6466 to exit.
Of course. An exegesis. Anything else?
Did you manage to vanquish the Medusa?
To open the chimney? Yes, absolutely.
So you've already come across it. It's the Bible of Judas that is exposed in the secret room behind the chimney.
Why do they call it an exegesis?
Because that's what it is, and not an apocryphal Bible, strictly speaking. It's the study of a text with a summary, not an actual Bible. Anyway, well done for the Gorgon. You did well. You didn't get tricked by the light bouncing back.
Thanks. Do you think I can take it safely?
We haven't got a choice, Louis. Without it, we won't be able to work out this cursed mechanism.
La Bible de
This is the
Gutenberg.
book in which you left your correspondence with Duchess Hillsborough,
Mais
isn't it?
le texte, s'il vous plaît.
You still believe it's in the tower room, don't you?
I don't know. There is only one way to find out, though.
Right. I shall go and see. There's one in the portrait gallery.
Yes, but it's enormous. If you don't want to have to go back and forth several times, then I suggest you get a smaller one.
What did you do then?
I didn't think I'd need one. I started without one, and I lost my hand before I did need one. And you can see the result.
Ah, mais c'est con quand même de faire ça et de perdre ses mains.
Don't worry about that. We already have them. They are written on the back of the message I just gave you. One last thing before you go. Be very careful. If you come across anyone, they can all potentially be spies of Mortimer or Holm. Don't ever confide in anyone because a demon can slip inside them at any moment.
Wait, not all of them though. Take Washington.
Especially Washington. He's been conditioned by Mortimer for years. Look at them, for crying out loud. How do you explain their behavior otherwise? The most influential politicians in the Western world gather together without the least protection, without a single aid to assist them, to participate in a conference during which the guests start dropping like flies. Me, Adams, Peru, Hillsborough. Look at the number of calamities that have happened over the past few days. And not one of them has asked to leave the island? Do you find that normal? You'll see. Go up to the manor to look for the keys, and I wager not one of them will speak to you about my being in Emily's room.
Do you think so?
Go on, you'll see. And come back with all the objects in one go. Time is against us. And remember, the code to get out of the secret office is 6466.
Ça va être le bazar. Alors, nage agilité. J'ai beaucoup de livres quand même. La sortie, please. Ouvre. Non, ça va être le bazar. Clé à motif occulte de l'air. Ah, j'en ai deux. Si je trouve un coffre qui soit clair, je peux ouvrir. Organon. Ah, c'est terrible. La sortie, s'il vous plaît. Alors, on va prendre... Oui, c'est par là-bas. Prendre l'escalier des invités. Et on va privilégier les clous quand même. Ah oui, là, le mécanisme.
Right. This time, it'll be a lot quicker. If I remember rightly, the code was 1191.
Ah, ça va remplir à ma place. Ah non. Ça va être rapide. Fais mousse la sourde. Ah non, j'espère pas. Hein. C'est pas amusant. Je crois qu'on a déjà eu assez de rebondissements pour cet épisode. Et évitons d'en avoir d'autres. Alors. C'est quoi ça? Non, je peux le ramasser. Où sont les clous?
There. Those are the nails I was looking for.
Clou de Mortimer. La croix de Clément III. Déjà trouvée. Ouais, donc les clous ont trouvé. Bible de Gutenberg. Salle de la tour. Sphère armillaire, note Sarah. 3 points d'intégration, c'est pas mal ça.
Weaknesses of the Human Psyche by Gilhelm Trimore. All right, come on, let's get out of here. 6466.
Oh mais fais le code au moins au lieu de traîner comme ça. Ah c'est bon. Alors. Oui, ça a vraiment été rapide.
Glad you're here.
Blasted. He's gonna talk about my mother.
Come and see what I've found. There are pieces of paper in the ashes of the chimney. Someone's
qu'est-ce
been
qu'il fout là,
burning
Washington
something
là?
here.
Incredible. He doesn't seem to want to speak to me about what happened between my mother and the Hillsborough sisters. Show me a little.
Look, it's possible to distinguish two different writing styles.
The rest of the correspondence between my mother and Emma.
Someone tried to burn an exchange of messages. I'm certain.
Sans blague.
There must be more.
Shit. What on earth is he doing?
Diversion. Non,
If you want my opinion, a servant must have burnt some old papers, that's all.
Why, of course. You very nearly made me think that you were trying to hide something, Louis. No, I'm sure there must be other hidden messages.
He won't let go. He's going to work his way back to the Bible if he continues. The Bible's still there.
Et voilà, on vend les livres ni vu ni connu encore. C'est terrible. Galerie des portraits. C'est à l'étage en dessous. Ah oui, il va falloir refaire le... Faut rouvrir la salle secrète de la cheminée.
Right. Let's see if the statues are in place yet. That statue is not positioned correctly.
Oui, mais ça j'ai compris. Vers le recul. Ah ok, il y a juste celle-là.
Open sesame.
The Ring of the Nibelungs. Even if Mortimer is several centuries old, I don't see what part he has in this legend. So that's the exegesis of Judas. I hope Mortimer doesn't read it very often, otherwise he's going to notice that someone's stolen it. But that's just
Allez,
too
on
bad.
vole encore un livre ni vu ni connu. Nous n'avons que ça à faire. Et du coup, les deux autres. La croix de Clément III déjà trouvée. Ah, il faut peut-être aller voir Piaggi. Et une sphère. Une sphère. Nord, Sarah, quoi. Pardon.
Right. I've got what I need. Now let's not waste any more time. right. It's definitely an armillary sphere, but I have to find one that I can take with me. Otherwise, I risk drawing too much attention to my comings and goings. Now, where can I find a smaller one?
Non, mais franchement, celle-là, ça va, hein. Personne va reconnaître... Enfin, personne va s'en rendre compte si je la vole, celle-là, quand même. C'est tout petit. Oui, non, les notes, c'est parce que... Bah, elle nous a déjà tout dit, en fait. Donc, pour éviter de galérer 500 000 fois.
Song of Roland. Roland feeleth his death is near. His brain is oozing by either ear.
Peut-être dans le petit salon. Je ne sais plus. Vous n'aurez pas de la gelée royale, s'il vous plaît? Je veux de la gelée royale. Vous n'en avez pas? C'est triste. Alors, de l'ombre.
Amber.
A chest with a motif representing the alchemical symbol of
Symbole
water.
chimique de l'eau, on s'en fout. Il me semble pas que j'ai les... Ah non, j'ai pas les deux. J'ai la terre et l'air. Et sinon, la porte est là-bas. Ah mais les trucs que je pouvais...
Chronicles of the Amber Princess. As I recall, Dorfman
Je
was
peux
my
retourner
favorite
ici,
character.
si, je ne sais plus. Si, apparemment, si.
There's a pattern with 5 circles on this chest.
On va parler à Bonaparte.
Not too shocked.
I beg your pardon?
About Peru this morning. I asked you if you weren't too shocked by it all.
And yourself? Not too shook up?
The only thing that matters to me about that stupid man Peru is the disastrous situation in which it put us for the conference vote. I wonder why Mortimer even allowed him to roam around the manor armed. He was a veritable public danger.
Indeed. You don't seem to be too affected. Tell me. I was wondering. You wouldn't know where to find an armillary sphere, would you?
Do you really think this is the right time? Oh, ask Volner. I am sure he will know. What with him being passionate about astronomy, you ought to get on fine together. Leave me now. I need to think of a solution.
On va le laisser.
I won't keep you any longer. See you later, monsieur.
La salle principale. Est-ce qu'il y a quelque chose ici? Ah. Coup d'œil.
God damn it, Riche! Are you joking or what? You sell me pipe dreams about Mortimer's project, and a few hours later,
Ah, lui
one
m'en
of your
veut.
allies completely breaks down. Is this what Mortimer's side is all about? What am I going to do now?
Come now, my Lord Duke. You know very well that at this level, things can get pretty rough. You ought to be used to it. Rest assured, Lord Mortimer has bounced back before. It's not an issue.
What can I do for you?
I'm dreaming.
J'aurais pas dû lui
was
parler en
right.
fait.
He's not going to tell me one word about what happened to Emily.
To tell you the truth, I'm in search of an armillary sphere. You wouldn't know where I can find it, would you?
Well, well. So you too have a passion for astronomy. Von Wollner has already bored me quite enough with all of his endless stories. You ought to concentrate, Louis. Politics is an art that requires all one's attention. Refrain from spreading yourself too thin, and leave stargazing to the poets.
Ouais, ouais.
What can I say? I'm
Enfin,
only...
Ask Wollner. I am sure he must have it among his effects.
Perfect.
Thank you, my Lord Duke.
Leave me now.
See you later.
Alors, Piaggi il est là. On va d'abord aller voir Piaggi. En plus, c'est la seule chambre qu'on n'a pas visitée.
Ah, Louis, come in. Your timing is impeccable. I wanted to have a word with you.
Oh, here we go.
Voilà, il n'a plus de croix. Une croix, franchement, non.
In your search for our poor Sarah, you must have made some progress, I should think. I am terribly worried about her, you know.
Come on, get out of here, Louis. You're in a hurry.
Any news of her?
Non.
Unfortunately not. No.
Are you sure? You know, Louis, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I sense you are worried and that you are not telling me everything.
Oui, alors le truc, c'est que je
vais
débloquer un mécanisme qui coûtait une main déjà.
I was not born yesterday, you know. When you came in, I saw in your face a hint of disappointment at finding me here. I concluded that you were hoping you wouldn't run into me. You came here for something else.
No, no. You're mistaken. I was just passing by.
Je ne faisais que passer dans votre chambre.
I wouldn't want to take up your time.
J'avais besoin d'une croix, je ne faisais que passer.
See you later.
I have no time to lose, so I might as well not bother him.
C'est quand même terrible ce qu'on fait. Hein. Maintenant, Von Wollner. Ah bah non, je suis pas dans la bonne chambre.
My dear Elizabeth, I'm writing to inform you of... a chest with a half-circle pattern.
Ah, de la gelée royale, enfin. Ah, c'est beau.
A Greek drachma. One of a novel of the initiation of young woman. June 11th, 17. August 24th.
Joliment faite la déco ici quand même. Ça change du reste. Ah mais laisse-moi sortir le jeu. Il a Van Volner. Et on faisait couper ça aussi. Non, en fait, il n'y a personne.
An armillary sphere. Perfect. That will save me some time. I only hope that he isn't going to realize it right away.
Vous avez vu la grosseur de l'objet quand même? Et... Sans compter tous les livres volés en plus. C'est vraiment terrible pour ça. Maintenant, il faut redescendre. Attends, oui. Oui, il faut redescendre. Ah bah tiens. On a un objet quasiment aussi petit dans la poche. Ça serait rentré si t'avais pas tous tes livres. Peut-être, hein. Franchement. Allez.
So, good. You've managed to gather all the keys.
Alors non, je n'ai aucune clé.
I have everything. What should I start with?
Place the Clement III cross on the console. Then you have to put the nails on the disc of the door.
All right, my turn now.
Go ahead, impress me. I'll shut up and let you concentrate.
This exegesis contains comments from Judas on the different Gospels. It only contains certain chapters and verses, and the chapters are indicated by Roman numerals. The lexicon refers to different chapters and verses from the exegesis of Judas. The cycle of the moons has nothing to do with what I'm doing right now.
Choisser. Vous vous avez rendu compte, il faut choisir.
What theme did you start with?
As the fresco shows the birth of Christ, I placed one nail in Bethlehem, one in chapter 2, and one in verse
Bethléem,
6.
chapitre 2,
The
verset
iris
6.
opened a little. I thought it was normal. Behind the aperture of the iris, there is a duct in which I put my hand. I felt something like a valve at the bottom. I thought by turning it the door would open, or the iris would open completely, or something else would happen. Instead, I felt something like an axe.
Vous ne connaissez pas le
cross my
triple S de
hand.
langue française?
I really thought it was the end of me.
What did you do then?
Well, although I had made some unfortunate choices, I was lucky in that Mortimer was well stocked with drugs. I raided his supplies of medicine.
What hole should I put the nails in?
Well, I can't really advise you there, because I haven't exactly made the best choices myself. All I can say is that you have to insert one to choose a town, one to choose a chapter, and one to choose a verse.
Chapter 14, verse 22. On the 7th of Nisan, 3793, Jesus shared his Last Supper in the Cenacle in Jerusalem. Chapter 14,
Non,
verse
je ne voulais
22.
pas.
On the 7th of Nisan, 3793, Jesus shared his Last Supper in the Cenacle in Jerusalem. Chapter 2, verse 6. Jesus was born of Mary and Joseph on the 22nd of Teveth at midnight, 3762, in the village of Bethlehem.
Qu'est-ce que je fais? Bethléem 2, 6. Apparemment ça fonctionne pas. Ah. Vraiment, je sais pas quoi choisir. Bon. Je vais royal.
The fresco clearly shows the birth of Christ.
Louis, I can assure you that that is not the solution to this enigma. This fresco's only purpose is to mislead. I know that now. Please, focus on another theme about Christ.
We'll have to trust her. You could see that the paint has come off in parts. Difficult to see what was there, but I can distinguish the letters N-R-I. Nothing more. Why, of course. I-N-R-I. Jesus Nazarenus Rex Eudorum. These initials stand for Jesus the Nazarene, King of the Jews. This is the inscription which appears on the cross at the crucifixion of Jesus.
Crucifixion. On va voir la crucifixion. Thématique.
Chapter 19,
J'espère que
verse
c'est
17. Jesus was
19-17.
crucified on the 8th of Nisan, 3793, in a place near
19-17.
Jerusalem. The Romans put a crown of thorns on his head.
Insérer les clous. Alors. suivant, ça fait Golgotha. 19, 17.
It works.
Well done, Louis. I hadn't seen those other wheels. Try connecting the theme to see if it goes all the way.
There must surely be a connection between the wheels. There are different icons on this wheel, but it looks like some of them can't be connected to the other wheels.
Mother, what do you think?
As I told you, I didn't get that far. Nevertheless, these icons do represent moments in the life of Christ.
Rip le bras. Attends. Là en haut on a le symbole de la crucifixion. Là c'est la naissance. Là ça va être le baptême. La 3J ça va être... Troisième jour.
This wheel contains several symbols made up of one or two figures and one letter. The highest figure does not exceed 31, and each letter corresponds to a month of the year.
Ah, 3 janvier,
A
du coup.
for April, and M for March. I think these symbols must represent a specific date. This wheel represents the different moons. In the occult sciences, we represent the full moon by an X. As for the dark moon, called the new moon, in cults, it's often associated with something harmful. Look at this. There are notches between each of the wheels. So, I have to link the name of the town from the theme I've chosen to an icon, then to a date, and finally, the date to the moon.
Chapter 19, verse 17. Jesus was crucified on the 8th of Nisan, 3793, in a place near Jerusalem. The Romans put a crown of thorns on his head. Chapter 19, verse 17. And he, bearing his cross, went forth into a place called the place of a skull, which is called in the Hebrew Golgotha, where they crucified him, and 2 others with him, on either side, and Jesus in the midst.
Il n'y avait pas un symbole qui ressemble à une croix. Attends. Non, insérer le clou, c'est bon. En fait, je comprends pas ce qu'il faut faire là. Aligner les disques. Où est-ce qu'on le fait?
Look at this. There are notches between each of the wheels. So, I have to link the name of the town from the theme I've chosen to an icon, then to a date, and finally, the date to the moon.
Je vais appuyer les roues pour aligner les trucs. Mais où est-ce que je le fais donc? C'est incompréhensible. C'est où qu'on va faire pivoter tout ça? Analyser les roues. Yes. C'est juste pour voir à quoi ça correspond en fait.
Symbols made up of 1 or 2 figures and 1 letter. The highest figure does not exceed 31, and each letter corresponds to a month of the year. A for April, and M for March. I think these symbols must represent a specific date. Look at this. There are notches between each of the wheels. So, I have to link the name of the town from the theme I've chosen to an icon, then to a date, and finally, the date to the moon.
Ouais, ben j'ai bien compris, il fallait faire tourner des trucs, mais où? Ah non, ça va être là-dessus. Tourner la roue.
Let's see what combination corresponds to the chosen theme. Tu veux que je tourne ça? Je vais retourner dessus parce que là, ça me semble un peu bizarre. Analyser le roue intérieur. Alors, roue des icônes. Non. Observe le mécanisme. There are notches between each of the wheels. So, I have to link the name of the town from the theme I've chosen to an icon, then to a date, and finally the date to the moon.
Ce qu'on a choisi, c'est la crucifixion quand même. Je vais relire le texte.
Chapter 19, verse 17. Jesus was crucified on the 8th of Nisan, 3793, in a place near Jerusalem. The Romans put a crown of thorns on his head. Chapter 19, verse 17. And he, bearing his cross, went forth into a place called the place of a skull, which is called in the Hebrew Golgotha, where they crucified him, and 2 others with him, on either side, and Jesus in the midst.
La croix et l'huître à Bethléem. La croix et l'huître. Il n'y a pas de croix dans les... Il y a une bougie, au pire. Il y a... Ça, j'arrive pas à voir ce que ça peut être. Là, il n'y a pas de symbole. On dirait une croix avec du sang. Non, non, c'est une bougie. Hein. Toutes les icônes sont lisibles depuis l'extérieur, en fait. Si tu mets en bas, on voit forcément une bougie. Bon. Du coup, là, faut y mettre la main.
I could feel the lever at the bottom.
Good luck.
J'aime bien le good luck. Tirer le levier, allez, soyons joueurs.
I never doubted you, my son.
Ah là, le soulagement. Je sais pas tellement ce que j'ai fait en fait, un peu au hasard. J'ai tout réussi. Il n'y a pas d'alternative. Pardon. Donc cette partie-là devait forcément se passer comme ça. Alors, 4 points. Je vais compléter ces 3-là. Occultisme, c'est pas mal. Oh, c'est fini. Bon. C'est-à-dire qu'on va s'arrêter là du coup. Oh, mais c'est vraiment... La roue, là, j'ai failli... on sait toujours pas pour Emma. C'est la fin de l'épisode 3. Il reste encore 2 épisodes. Et bon, vu qu'il faut quasiment 3 heures pour chaque épisode, je vais pas les commencer maintenant. Du coup, alors ça... Je continuerai jeudi soir, parce que vendredi je travaille pas, donc je pourrais rester plus tard. Et samedi soir, parce que du coup le dimanche je travaille pas non plus. Et normalement on aura fini après. Il va falloir attendre un peu pour la suite. Ah mais je suis content d'avoir fini celui-là. C'est vraiment le plus gros retournement de situation qu'il y a. Allez. Ah, merci à vous d'être venus sur le stream. Rip Blix, Non, j'ai tué Emma. Et encore, Emma numéro bis parce que Emma a déjà été tuée. Quand c'est leur vote Blix. Oh, merci d'être venu. Ça me fait très plaisir. Et du coup, prochain stream, jeudi prochain. Bonne soirée à vous.